our devotions for today, Thursday, trusting that the night was well spent and it was a time of true refreshment and healing. As we go into this new day, we do so aware of God's continual love and presence, as God continually calls us into relationship with God, as God continually invites us to come up higher, to see and engage our world from a higher place, to know that there's more, to understand that what we see is not all there is, and to understand that the more we're able to release our old concepts and patterns and become more of our true self, the more we're able to truly journey in this world as God intended us to do so. So we come now into this place of peace, this place of openness, and this place of understanding, holding those words in our hearts: love, compassion, generosity, understanding, and forgiveness. As you go into this time of meditation and reflection, opening ourselves now to receive, being intentional in knowing that there is divine light for us to daily receive. Imagining that light coming upon us, descending through our heads, coming down into our being, and slowly but surely occupying the fullness of our hearts, enabling a spirit of gratitude and love. We hold that love in our hearts, knowing that that love is of God, and that the more that we are able to hold this love within us, the more it transforms who we are into what God knows us to be. And as we are transformed into what God knows us to be, we impact others and assist in their transformation into what God knows them to be. So we know it is not about ourselves alone, but it is about all of God's creation. So we breathe from that place of deep gratitude and love, with a greater and greater sense of knowing God, of loving God, of serving God. Remembering the words of the Master: I come among you as one who serves. reading from our scriptures today. We turn to the 9th chapter, the Gospel according to Luke, reading from verse 18. When Jesus was alone praying, his disciples came to him and he asked them, "What do people say about me?" They answered, "Some say that you are John the Baptist or Elijah, or a prophet from long ago who has come back to life." Jesus then asked them, "But who do you say I am?" Peter answered, "You are the Messiah sent from God." Jesus strictly warned his disciples not to tell anyone about this. Jesus told his disciples, "The nation's leaders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law of Moses will make the Son of Man suffer terribly. They will reject him and kill him, but 3 days later he will rise to life." And Jesus said to all the people, "If any of you want to be my followers, you must forget about yourself. You must take up your cross each day and follow me. If you want to save your life, you will destroy it. But if you give up your life for me, you will save it. What will you gain if you own the whole world but destroy yourself or waste your life? If you are ashamed of me and my message, the Son of Man will be ashamed of you when he comes in his glory and in the glory of his Father and the holy angels. You can be sure that some of the people standing here will not die before they see God's kingdom." Here ends the reading. Jesus wonders, what is the word on the street about me? Who do people say I am? Peter believes him to be the Messiah. Jesus asks him not to say anything to anyone about this. But he goes on to speak of what it means to be a disciple of his. The idea of taking up one's cross daily. Letting go of one's life. Perhaps if Jesus lived in our time, he would have used more psychological language. The letting go of self. The bringing into submission the ego. The idea of allowing the true self to manifest. He perhaps would have used terms such as that. Words that would encourage us to recognize that there's a self that very well might be imprisoned. There's a life that needs to be let go of. A life unknown to God. A life that we have shaped. Like a personality. There is something called human design. It's a way of understanding oneself. And there are two aspects to human design. There's what they call the personality, which one comes into at birth, as it were. And then there's the one that is inherited, that unconscious self. And oftentimes we're not aware of this unconscious self. But it is the unconscious self, that deeper self, that really guides our lives. The personality masks it. The personality oftentimes seeks to fit in with what is around us. To know oneself is to know that which is deep within us. In our world, we tend not to pay too much attention to that which is deep within us. And oftentimes this is because we are fearful. We are fearful of what we may find. And we wonder how we might be able to control it. Because we live in a world where we all wear masks. And the mask is that which is acceptable, that which is agreed upon, that which is allowed. But the true self which resides beneath the mask, many of us fear this true self, not knowing how one might be able to control it, or whether or not it will fit into what is accepted. But the journey that we have in this world is a journey of the discovery of that which is beneath the mask. That divine understanding, that divine self. Jesus, in his journey, sought constantly to allow that hidden self to manifest. And the more he allowed that hidden self to manifest, the more the mask fell away. And the more the mask fell away, the more of an annoyance he became to the authorities of his day. You see, in our world, we are considered okay if we fit in, if we don't rock the boat, if we don't say anything other than what's being said. But the minute that we have a difference of opinion, the minute that we come to life from a different place, when that happens, in that moment we become an annoyance. We become a thorn in the flesh. And we become a target for destruction. And Jesus says, if you don't lose that self, if you try to save that self because you don't want to be a target for destruction, that you will actually lose that other self, that eternal self. And that eternal self is of greater import than this facade that we call our natural self, which in reality is not natural, but it is what is acceptable. He who saves his life will lose it. We will save that which is acceptable, but we lose that which is eternal. These words of Jesus continue to come to us day by day in our journey, inviting us to recall the importance of following his example and knowing the importance of recognizing that yes, when we allow our true selves to manifest, there will be discomfort. But it is our true self. And we want not to be ones who gain the whole world and lose our souls. But we want to be those who recognize the importance of the soul and release the world. So the cross, which for us then is that symbol of losing the world and gaining our souls, we lift it high.